Welcome to Nova Module, your home for smart cloud integrations. NetSuite is #1 cloud ERP system that exists today. And naturally, there are many systems that integrate with NetSuite. Today, we'd like to cover the functionality of one of the web store connectors that is most popular one, and that is Shopify to NetSuite connector. There are 3 editions of the connector: Standard, Premium, and Enterprise. That's what you see on top of the screen. On the left side of the screen, you see data flows associated with a particular edition of the connector. Standard edition of the connector includes 4 data flows that allow you to import customers and sales orders from Shopify to NetSuite, and also allow you to export fulfillment data as well as the inventory levels such as quantity from NetSuite to Shopify. Now, the premium edition of the connector includes 2 additional data flows that allow you to export items from NetSuite to Shopify as well as any pertinent billing information. Now let's talk about Enterprise Edition. Enterprise Edition has 2 additional data flows that allow you to export cancellations and refunds from NetSuite to Shopify. In today's session, we'd like to cover 2 data flows: import customers and sales orders from Shopify to NetSuite. These are the 2 distinct data flows that exist and available with every edition of the connector. So in order for us to do that, we need the front end of the store, the back end of the store, which is Shopify, NetSuite, integrator.io platform that has the Shopify to NetSuite connector. Let's place an order on the front end of the website. So I already have sunglasses included in my shopping cart, and I want to pick up a t-shirt. So let's add this item to our shopping cart and review it. So I see 2 items being added and the subtotal of $49.98. Let's proceed to the checkout. In this example, I'd like to put the customer information in as though someone is creating a new customer account. So in this case, I'm going to use an email address that's never been used before, and I know for sure that it doesn't exist in NetSuite. So hence, I'm going to use this email address and all the shipping data that is already pre-populated. In addition to that, on the right side of the screen, you see an option where you can put the discount item in. Let's just say always 20, and I know that this discount works and it discounts an order by 20%. So as you can see here, it discounted by 20%. It's $9.99 and the order looks good. So let's go ahead and continue to the shipping method. So let's select the standard shipping method and continue to the payment method. Now we're going to use a test credit card that is provided by Shopify, and that is all 4s and 2s interchangeably. And we're going to say it's John Demo, expiration month and year, and CVV, which we can use 123. Now for testing purposes, let's use a different billing address. So in this case, we're going to say it's John, last name is Demo, this is billing company name, and let's ship this item to Oakland, for example, 7750 Pardee Lane as an example, Suite 100, Oakland, California, 9461 is the zip code. And for the phone number, we'll use all 9s, let's say. Let's uncheck this checkbox. We don't need any newsletters, not at this point. Let's take a look at the sales order summary again, and everything looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and complete this order. So what's going to happen on the back end of the integrated.io platform in the connector, we should see that data flow executing now. And as you guys can see, flow is being executed. So the connector is actually adding order info as well as customer info from Shopify to NetSuite. Once this is completed, what we expect to see is we expect this sales order to be present in NetSuite. Now let's go to Shopify and refresh this page, and we should see that sales order available, which is 1014, and this is John Demo, and that's a completely new customer record with this email address. Again, all the information is available on the back end of Shopify, and you have the shipping address as well as the billing address, and these are two distinct addresses that we use. Now let's check what's happening in the integrated.io, and this is a completed data flow, and we see a record of success. So the expectation is that when we search for this sales order in NetSuite, we should be able to see that. And here it is at the bottom of the screen. You see sales order 1014 for John Demo. NetSuite assigned the sequential customer ID, and this is the information that is available. Let's take a closer look at that. As you can see here, in the primary information section, you have all the information that is available and that was imported from Shopify into NetSuite, and that's the sales order data. So you have the customer name, you have the sales order number that NetSuite assigns, you have the Shopify sales order number that is available here, and in addition to that, there is a summary. Now, if you scroll down, then in the items tab, you'll see all the details about the two items that I purchased, as well as I see the information that is available on hand, available quantity, quantity ordered, and different price levels that I'm using. Now, everything is modified to what you actually need, of course. So that's part of the mappings and reviewing the setup. When you implement the connector, I'll work with you to make sure that we get that information right. Now let's take a look at the billing info. So the billing info, as expected, was showing the Oakland address here, and on the shipping tab we see the San Francisco address. That's the ship to. That was used when we placed an order. So shipping address is in San Francisco and the billing address is in Oakland. Now, to provide more details, as part of the implementation and installation, we include the e-tail tab, which has all the order details, and that is Shopify Store, e-tail channel, which is Shopify, e-tail order ID, and the store ID. In addition to that, you see the Shopify discount code and the Shopify order number. Let's take a look at what this actually means. E-tail order ID. If you memorize this number, or at least the last 4 digits, 5571, then we can easily trace this to the unique ID that is provided by Shopify, and it is this ID here in the URL. Now, same is true for the customer record. Let's just review customer record in NetSuite that the connector created. Now, again, you have all the details: customer ID, first name, last name, shipping address, which is San Francisco, and all the details below. And this is my unique email address that was associated with the, or it is associated with this customer record. Now, on the address tab here, the default shipping and billing are set as the ship to address that we placed in Shopify. Now let's go and compare this record with the record that is available in Shopify, and that's a customer record. So here, because the default address on a customer record is given as the ship to address. That is the reason why we get this information when we import this data from Shopify to NetSuite, and hence the result. But the rest of the information is available here, such as email address, and there was no account that was created as part of this sales order. Now let's take a closer look at the integrated.io platform. This is where your Shopify to NetSuite connector lives. Let's maybe start with the dashboard. Dashboard is that view that shows you all the data flows that were executed, and it shows you the progress just like we saw during the demo. When you click on settings, you see all the data flows available to you on the left hand side, and of course it really depends on what edition of the connector you have. If you have a standard edition of the connector, you only see limited data flows. If you have premium or enterprise, that you see respective data flows available and exposed in the UI. What we covered today was a subset of the data flows available with a particular edition of the connector, whether it's standard, premium, or enterprise. Specifically, we covered sales order import flow as well as customer import flow, that is from Shopify to NetSuite. On the left side of the screen, you see all the data flows available with your enterprise edition of the connector. Now, depending on what edition of the connector you purchase, you will see only those data flows that are available with that particular edition. Now, this is not all. For every data flow, we have a set of additional features that are available, and what is going to happen during the implementation, we will ask you a series of questions, and based on the answers that we receive, we will configure your connector